Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game.
All right, welcome and good evening to Game Over Calgary. My name is Anand, and joined along this evening is my co-host Ruby Zummack, who is our newest team member of Game Over Calgary. Good evening, Ruby. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. So we are gonna dissect the 3-2, pardon me, Flames win over the Seattle Kraken. A close one for comfort, I would say, depending on how you see the result. Just give me one second. My webcam is fiddling around a little bit. Oops. Sorry, my bad, folks. I just got a new webcam, and it's having some trouble. Let me see if I can fix it, or otherwise I'll quickly change it into my normal camera. Okay, there we go. Almost. Uh, yeah, apologies. Not that. Okay, I'm just gonna use my normal camera. Just give me one second. We always have technical difficulties, and okay, there we go. That should be, or maybe my position is not right. Anyway, welcome to Game Over Calgary. Thanks for joining us. Once again, like we said, a little too close for comfort. 3-2 win for the Calgary Flames. We'll talk about the scoring summary shortly. We'll talk about key points of the game as well. And then we'll hear from Ruby as well, her thoughts on the game as well. But Ruby, kind of just summarizing it all over together. What did you think of the Flames game tonight? Of course, a back to back and a road trip game as well. I think we. Weathered the storm and we came up with the win.
Yeah, I think that Calgary played pretty good tonight. I did get a little scared at the end there when we had just a 1 point difference in the game after having that 3-0 lead. But I think that kind of goes into what I've been saying a lot in the past few streams that I've been in, saying that Calgary likes to lose energy going through each period, not being able to play the full 60 minutes of a game, and then also heading into when they feel like they're kind of safe and they're up by enough points, they stop playing as hard as they did in those first few periods. So overall, I think that we do need to just make sure that we keep up with playing with the same consistent energy throughout a game so that we don't end up in another situation like the first game of the series against Seattle, where I'm pretty sure it went into overtime and we were looking at a kind of a bad spot there.
Yeah, 100%. It's always key to play a whole 60-minute game whenever you're playing. I know the Flames weathered the storm, like we said already, but I think it was too close for comfort. Matt, I will hit through a couple chats earlier on. So if you're tuning in, welcome aboard. Matt C saying there is no lead that's ever comfortable for the Flames. Agreed, we saw that. That was a hard stopper, but I think Dan Blatter came out fantastic. And the Calgary either plays well in the first and poorly in the third, or poorly in the first and well in the third. So yeah, that has been the common theme this year too. And then KQ saying go Flames go. Welcome KQ to the chat as well. But before we get things started, of course, I have to do our ad read. Thank her, all our sponsors and participants of our show. Hyperdrive Hockey, shift into Hyperdrive and get ready to have some fun with a new source for all the biggest story in hockey, bringing a unique style of broadcasting and commentary with Quebec flavor. Hyperdrive Hockey combines top tier hockey analysis, big stories, pop culture, and a damn fun atmosphere that will drive debate, make you think, and more. Join Max Van Hoot, Daphne Malabau, and Kevin Lemaire every Monday and Thursday for your fill on in the hockey world. Watch on YouTube on the Game Over Network channel or subscribe to the podcast Apple, Spotify, or Amazon, and head to our website at thegameovernetwork.com. And then Brandon in the chat saying as well, back to back with bad travel. Vladdy played well. The boys lost gas. Yeah, 100%. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But Ruby, a miracle first period for the Calgary Flames. What did you think of that whole first period where we led 3-0 in the very first period?
Yeah, I really loved the Flames' first period. I think that they came out very strong heading into Seattle tonight. Always a bit nervous, especially with the. I know that we had kind of a last minute change to the lineup heading into the first. That did not match what they had in the projected lineup for the night. So kind of seeing that Huska was making some changes right before the game started was kind of a little concerning, especially as we know we had that late game last night heading into a game just right away this Sunday in Seattle, kind of getting on the plane right away, not doing a morning skate. Kind of some high stakes, especially, yes, with our new players on the lineup. So I'll definitely say that I, for one, was nervous going into this game, but I was very impressed with the Flames in the first period, grabbing that lead right off the start, which I know is so important to Calgary because they're so based on their momentum that they really did need kind of a head start in order to get through the rest of the game tonight with how tired they were probably going to be.
Yeah, 100%. So Morgan Frost getting his first goal as a Calgary Flame, of course, coming from the Philadelphia Flyers. Of course, Flames fans, if you missed that trade, that's the Philadelphia Flyers coming in exchange for Kuzmenko and Jacob Pelche and a 2025 second round pick and a 2028 seventh round pick. That's how the trade transpired. Again, Kuzmenko and Pelche have not been able to play for Philadelphia yet as they are having some U.S. immigration visa issues right now. So, but Morgan Frost with a great goal. What did you see from that Morgan Frost goal, Ruby?
That Morgan Frost goal, I was so surprised with kind of how that play went. I think it was who do we have? We had Sharon Govich was on the lineup with them. I had it written somewhere. Let's find it. Morgan Frost goal. Yes, right here. Sharon Govich and Pat Pospisil were the ones with him on that line. And heading up to the net, seeing that pass from Sharon Govich to Frost, kind of just the way that that pass went made me feel like they had almost been playing together for much longer than just one game with against Detroit that we just had, and it felt like the chemistry was there between them two going into that play, and Sharon Govich set up Frost perfectly for that goal. Just rifled it right over the shoulder of Seattle's goalie, and it was honestly quite a goal to see for his first goal with the Flames, and I think he'd be proud to know that he got the first goal of the night against Seattle and then heading into the lead that they ended up having in that first period.
Yeah, 100%. Not only he opened the scoring, but he also has been terrific with winning the face-offs, which has been a concern for the Calgary Flames overall. On to our second point, Jamie Pringle. I don't know, Ruby, how much you watch the Flames regularly, but Jamie Pringle, our video coach, I think he has been one outstanding factor for the Flames this season. I think from all of the video reviews or video coaches challenges we have done so far this season, I think he has won pretty much of them. And then we overturned a Seattle goal that was in goaltender interference. I think the player stepped on Dan Vladar's stick. Otherwise, Seattle could have had a goal early in the first period. What did you think of that goaltender interference? And have you constantly seen the work of Jamie Pringle as of late?
I have not kind of been a part of watching Jamie Pringle and his video kind of coach opportunities here, but looking into tonight, I was impressed with that goalie interference call, knowing that Vladar really did not have a chance to get his stick back out and his pads ready for that shot on net. I really think that was a call that needed to be made. And I'm glad that Pringle saw it and called it and was confident in it, especially since if it was a call that was made and we ended up not getting it, and then we were the ones to maybe get a delay of game, I know that would have hurt Calgary pretty bad going into that first period momentum-wise. And I'm just really glad that we actually got what we were asking for. And I know that sometimes it's hard, especially when you're not in a home arena, to try and make decisions to call those types of things. especially you don't know how the officials are going to be that night or how things are going to go. But I think that it played out really well for Calgary, both in our own goalie interference call and the one that ended up happening with Seattle there. But I think we got pretty lucky with those calls tonight.
Yeah, 100%. And then shortly after, Yegor Sharangovich on a power play, of course, that delayed power play on that coach's challenge. Yeah, later on, Yegor Sharangovich getting the power play goal. It also that one also got almost overturned, but the Seattle took a coach's challenge yet once again, but they were not successful this time, and that led into a 5-on-3, and then Jonathan Huberdeau yet once again strikes on the power play, his 20th of the season, and making it 3-0 for the Calgary Flames. What have you seen from Jonathan Huberdeau this season? I think he's playing one of his best season as a Calgary Flame. 20 goals this season, and he continues to improve almost every day. I know he was quiet for the maybe the past couple games, but tonight's shining on the power play.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I definitely think that Huberdeau has been quiet lately, but he definitely has his moments where he picks up and shows kind of what he actually is made of and what he can do for the team. Tonight was actually what I was seeing was his fastest he's ever recorded 20 goals in a season in his whole career. So he actually did set a personal record for himself with that goal tonight. He would have had the next 3 games counting tonight to make that record, but I'm glad he got it tonight. He was definitely probably feeling great after that goal. Also, great power play goal there. Seeing how it was like the faked out shot to a pass. He lined it up perfectly. Just sneaked it in right past Seattle's goalie, and I felt like he definitely had a great opportunity there, and definitely was a goal he should be proud of.
100%. So 3-0 to end the first period. That's how these scoring went. Morgan Frost, Yegor Sharangovich, and Jonathan Huberdeau. Next gen leap on the chat line saying Farabee and Frost must be exhausted. Of course, 3 different time zones. They played in Philadelphia Flyers. They played yesterday at Calgary, Detroit, and then they headed on the plane to Seattle. So they must be really exhausted. I think I saw 3 different time zones in like 4 days, so really exhausting. I wouldn't like different change of time zones. I know how difficult it is be, so kudos to both Farabee and Frost. Anything else you wanted to add, Ruby, before we move on to the second period? I think we talked about the 3 goals, such a miracle for the Flames, especially coming off a back-to-back. I didn't think we expected this kind of events in the first period.
Yeah, no, I think that the Flames definitely had an amazing night tonight. Given the circumstances, they definitely powered through basically every obstacle just put on them. And yeah, it was quite the game. I think a lot of Flames fans were very happy with tonight.
100%. All right, let's head into the second period. Before that, KQ saying Frosty the Goalman. Of course, it's kind of resemble. It's snowing in Calgary. It's cold in Calgary, and then Frosty maybe wanted that snow to score. So there you go. All right, let's do a quick another ad read before we head into the second period. We'll talk about where maybe things change for a little bit. But if you're looking ways to help upstart a media company like us, Game Over Calgary, employing over 30 young journalists like me and Ruby and analysts across Canada, if you have a few spare bucks kicking around, you get to head to our Patreon page at patreon.com/the Game Over Network. There you'll find multiple tiers featuring different rewards and goodies for helping us grow. There is extra access, exclusive looks behind the scenes, Discord benefits, merch discounts, opportunity to give us feedback, and you can join us for special shows live where you can interact with hosts. So you are doing that right now in the YouTube chat as we launch more ways to improve your experience. And if you're not able to spare us a few dollars, don't worry about it. We have a free tier, so you don't miss out as well. And if you want to really help us out, you can subscribe on a YouTube, like and share this with your friends right now, and rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcast app, and share on your social media of choice as well. We are on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere you can find us. All right, Ruby, heading into the second period, I think that's when Seattle started to grow some frustrations. Calgary started to lose on pace and speed, and then Seattle hemmed the Calgary on their own defensive zone, and then Capo Caco opening the scoring with Mahora and assisted by Schwartz. So, what did you see in that second period? I think the Flames slowed down a little, causing a tense for the Flames fans here.
Yeah, I definitely felt like, as I've talked about a lot, it's definitely motivation based when it comes to the Flames, and I don't think I can blame them too much on this game tonight. That was such a very energetic first period. So going into the second period, they definitely, I think, we're trying to keep some energy just in case things did go wrong heading into the third, as we almost saw here tonight. But overall, I wasn't I wasn't too disappointed with the second period. I know that there was quite a few penalties that were had throughout the game tonight by both teams, and I feel like the Flames definitely like to take advantage of when they are on the power play. But when it comes to them trying to penalty kill, they definitely need all of their energy during times like during the second period. And I feel like those are just times where they definitely needed to be more careful about what their plays were doing, especially when looking into the third period as well. Um, just taking penalties that maybe should not have been taken, and wasting energy that they did not need to waste.
Yeah, I think penalty kill was one big factor, especially this game. I think they killed like two or three penalties in a row, which is I think useful, and that's how the momentum came through. And yeah, Seattle had some frustrations too, and then Joey Duckard was there making some key saves for Seattle, which I think the team would have appreciated considering the frustrations. They were down 3-0 early. They were one of the well rested teams. I would say they had a break. Um, they didn't play. They played on Thursday and they didn't play until today. Meanwhile, the Flames coming on a back-to-back. I think both teams had their own frustrations, but like you said, having a double goal lead at the end of the second period, which was fantastic for the Flames. Yeah, I didn't notice anything else much on that second period. I think Jake Bean and Matt Coronato had a couple of great shots. They could have made the score differently as well, maybe a 4-1 or a 5-1 game, but they couldn't tuck it in back of the net. Let's talk about a bit of the rookies here right now. So, Matt Coronato, what have you seen from him overall this season?
I definitely have been liking what Coronado's been doing. I've never kind of noticed any time where he's been lacking on ice. I feel like he's always around the play. He's always kind of right where he needs to be in terms of either helping his teammates or being there on his own. Definitely, he's been working his way up through the season. I think gaining more confidence and gaining more ice time altogether, and trying to really make a name for himself with the Flames right now. And I think he's doing really successful in that because he's definitely a name that the Flames are knowing and definitely reliant on in the lineup right now. And I think he just keeps getting better as we get closer to the playoffs.
100%. And then the defensive pairings too. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. I think the defensive pairing is really missing Kevin Ball. Definitely, he's out week to week due to that injury he sustained against the Minnesota Wild. Hopefully, he can come back soon. But have you seen struggles from the defensive pairing without the presence of Kevin Ball?
I definitely think that I've seen some kind of like a little bit of a slower play from Rasmus Anderson with the absence of Ball. I know that they played super well together, and I think that with the amount that the defensive pairings have been changing the last few games, as we've seen, I think that they are taking it a little bit more carefully. I do feel like right now, the one kind of defensive player that I think is standing out despite all these changes is Uyghur. I think that he's still doing quite good despite all the switching in these lineups. And I think that when Ball returns, that things will kind of just fall back into place. But obviously, that's something we're going to have to wait and see. But overall, the defense is, I think, kind of just at a little bit of a, like, almost like a stagnant. They're not really getting too worse, and they're not really going too better right now.
Yeah, good way to describe that. Of course, Kevin Ball standing 6 foot tall. I think they might need as well. All right, JC talking about Coronato might get beats sometimes defensively, but it's never due to lack of effort. Yeah, of course, Coronato is still learning his rookie season with the like his main NHL season. He's still learning. I'm sure he'll get stronger and taller as the time goes on. But good point. Yeah, Coronato never really gives up. We have seen how much great he can play. All right, I think that's all the points I had for the second period. Any additional thoughts you want to add, Ruby, before we head into the third period?
No, I think we covered everything pretty good there.
All right, perfect. So just a quick summary there. Once again, Calgary lost on speed and pace as the time went on. In the second period, they got hemmed in their own zone a bit, but then Capco Kako opening the scoring for the Seattle Kraken as well. And then, yeah, frustration grew on both sides, officiating a bit questionable. We'll talk about that in the end. All right, let's head into the third period. Before that, uh, GC putting out another point as well. I'll come to that in just a moment. But if you're enjoying this show so far, you probably want more of this, right? Well, make sure you hit the like button on this video, click the subscribe button on our channel, and make sure you check the notification bell icon as well so you are alerted when we go live. And if you're listening to our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating or even write a positive review. We always love it. And if you really like us, make sure to follow us on your favorite social media platforms. You can find Game Over Network on Blue Sky at the gameovernetwork.com, on TikTok, on Twitter, and on Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn at the Game Over Network. We appreciate you hanging out with us. My handle is CGY underscore Anand, and Ruby, I think you're on Instagram as well. Ruby Zummack, you can follow her as well. And we are on the Discord server as well. So if you find the link hanging out in the website, you can join that too. And you can find us at the gameovernetwork.com, where you can sign for our soon upcoming newsletter as well. All right, moving into the third period, Ruby, this is where things got interesting for the Calgary Flames. There was an icing call. Was that really an icing call? And then right after the face-off, the Seattle Kraken responded to make a 3-2. Then Vladar took an unnecessary delay of game, which he put the puck over the glass. Yegor Sharangovich had almost a shot and a breakaway. And then, of course, officiating was a little questionable all night long. Your thoughts on the third period and what you saw in that, like I said earlier, a little too close comfort for a third period.
Yeah, so seeing that early goal right in the third period there by Seattle, a time of goal, I was definitely a little concerned, sitting on the edge of my seat a little bit, noticing that we might have another overtime situation against Seattle that we do not want. And I know that Calgary was definitely losing energy by this point, and they were definitely losing their momentum. I think they were still playing it safe, knowing that they had a 2-goal lead heading into the third. And then that's kind of what came in, kind of bit them in the butt there, was that they weren't playing to the full energy that they were almost seeming to be saving during the second period. They didn't bring it out as soon as that third period did start. Seeing the Vladar delay of game penalty, definitely a little heartbreaking. I know that seeing these penalties happen that even over the past 2-3 games that Calgary can definitely avoid, and that are so simple mistakes to make. It's a real nail-biting moment, because we know that this is the exact perfect moment that Seattle needs to make a comeback, tie the game, and potentially force an overtime, or even just grab the last goal before the period would end there. And I know we saw the Sharangovich breakaway. I was very hopeful in that. I saw some potential in that breakaway, but came short in the end, as we saw during their own penalty kill. So yes, that was when they were still on their penalty being served from that delay of game. And then kind of at the end of the period, seeing that Seattle almost had a scoring opportunity when they pulled their goalie, that was also a little bit of a nail-biting moment. And I think that there was too many close calls in the third period for us to be proud of how the play went completely. And I think that I personally would just be wondering where all that energy went when we seemed to be playing so slowly in the second period. And personally, I could see that we stopped playing the middle as much as we did in that first period, and we were really pushing the play towards the board more. When Seattle is definitely a more middle play team, and that's how you can kind of tell when the Flames are getting tired and they're trying to create more space between these plays and buy themselves some more time before they get to the net.
Yeah, 100% well said. Like JC in the chat saying that Miss Icing was potentially a backbreaker. I agree. And yeah, once again, too close of a comfort game to end. Dan Vladar had to make a couple key saves at the end too. I know he rebounded well after making the delay of game error, but I think yeah, well deserved credit to the Flames coming off an important much 2 point win. I think now that puts them 1 point ahead of Seattle, Vancouver Canucks. 2 points ahead of Vancouver Canucks, if I remember correctly, and then now 5 points ahead of St. Louis Blues, which has them in the thick of the races once again, yet for the playoff spot, wildcard number 2. So we saw Mac Coronado get a bit hurt at the end of the I think it was around the 10-second mark or something where he almost twisted his ankle, but then he came back, thankfully. Hopefully, nothing too major on that front. So, Ruby, we are playing the Toronto Maple Leafs next, a team that is bouncing up and down, a great rivalry, a great fan base also. Ticket prices almost double as well when that team comes to town in Saddledome. What are you looking to see from the team, from the Calgary Flames when they take on the Maple Leafs on Tuesday? And do you want to see any lineup changes? Anything you want to be tweaked here and there? Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because I'm hired to Game Over Network, both for a host for Toronto and Calgary, mainly because I am a Toronto fan. But ever since kind of starting up with the Calgary Game Over Network, I've definitely become quite a big fan of Calgary as well. So this is going to be kind of a heartbreaking game for me to watch. I've always wanted to go see the Toronto Calgary games in person. As you said, ticket prices nearly double for these days. I could be not paying attention to the NHL league whatsoever, and I will know when Toronto's in town just from the buzz around the city. So it's definitely going to be a big event. Calgary is definitely going to feel the pressure of this game, and I think I don't even know what to do with our lineups looking into it. I definitely really enjoyed where Frost and Farabee were placed tonight. I think that our lineup has been solid, despite kind of what's going on the defense pairings right now with these injuries. But going into this Toronto game, I think that Huska has done great to understand the chemistry between our lineups in a way that the players are supported by the players that they need to be. And I don't think that we need to do much. I think that sitting on what we have been doing is going to be our best bet, especially with the new players and the injuries and everything going on. I think we should limit how much is being changed as much as possible.
Yeah, fair enough. Good way to say that. Um, so I know you are a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. I know you talk about the game over Calgary as well, but here is an interesting question for you. Dan Vladar got a win tonight, but Dustin Wolf is known to be a great starter at home. Who would you like to see the Flames start on Tuesday? Would you like to see the Maple Leafs face Dustin Wolf or face Dan Vladar? It might be a trick of a question,
Um,
but yeah.
yeah, I definitely think this is going to be an interesting thing to see because, like I've mentioned in previous episodes in the past, Dustin Wolf does not have as much experience going kind of seeing these super energetic arenas and arenas that are almost to the level of playoffs. And that's what we were kind of questioning going into these playoff games if we make it through and stick in this wild card spot is Dustin Wolf kind of going to be kind of shell shocked going into these games, seeing the support by the fan bases, especially by some teams when their fan bases have like kind of their little strategies to psych out the players and the goalies especially. I think Dustin Wolf does amazing at home games. Obviously, Vladar did great tonight. A performance that was kind of unexpected, especially knowing that the entire team is tired. And I know that Vladar kind of does depend a little bit more on Calgary's defense when he is playing, as opposed to Dustin Wolf. But I was seeing a lot of quick, energetic movements from Vladar tonight. So I think it's really a toss-up going into this Toronto game, but I think that it would be a good opportunity to start Wolf so he can see kind of a really high buzzing arena and see kind of what a game with a lot of noise and a lot of fans are going to be like.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. And KQ is saying Jamie Pringle is the man. Yeah, we'll do a recap here quickly as well. But yeah, Dustin Wolf, I think, would be your best bet to start. We'll see what the Flames do. Of course, we don't decide. It's the Calgary Flames who does. And yeah, so the Flames come off a 3-2 win against the Seattle Kraken. Much important win on the road, considering the situations. Once again, we thought Dan Vladar, he has struggled on the road. He has struggled on a back-to-back, but he'll feel confident. The Flames will feel confident. Morgan Frost will feel happy. So a lot of good notes to take away as well, but things to improve like we talked about as well. Anything else you wanted to add, Ruby, before we hit the chat line for the one final time and kind of start wrapping up the show?
Not really. I know that I think what I was reading is we're going to be seeing Seattle at the Saddle Dome actually coming up here. I think February 8th was when it said. Right before the Four Nations playoff, so that'll be our last game before the Four Nations break. So I'm excited to see kind of what Calgary can do when they see Seattle in a home game.
Yeah, 100%. I think we have seen a trend of that for the Calgary Flames as of late. If you get one game away, you get the home team again sooner, like in within 8 days. I think we saw that a couple weeks ago with the Winnipeg Jets. Started off with an away game and then they welcomed them home. So it's kind of that uniqueness of scheduling, you want to say. But thanks for reminding me, Ruby. We'll do a quick look ahead as well as we transition into. I'm going to quickly hide you for a second so we can get some pictures, cool pictures for our fans watching. This is our merch themed one. So just give me 1 second as I'll hide you for a quick second and then bring up. So if you see this QR code right now on your screen, what a better way to support something you love than by wrapping it on yourself. Game Over's apparel line has dropped and with 3 unique lines. So if you want to get the skater design, as a hoodie you can. If you want to get one of the winter cup mug, if you want to have some hot chocolate you can, or if you want to get one of the t-shirts as well you can. This is all designed by Brady Chalice of Game Over Winnipeg. Use the QR code on the stream now and take a look through our Apple store and help us rebuild local sports and media while you can and while you're upping the community. Alright, so welcome back, Ruby. Thanks for that quick bit while I showed some pictures. But let's do a quick look ahead first and then we'll hit the chat line for our fans here. So the Flames now have a much needed 1 day break. I don't know if they will skate tomorrow morning. I hope not because of how Joel Farabee, Morgan Frost will be tired and exhausted, of course. Then, like you said, the Maple Leafs are coming to town. Conrad will have that post game show, and Ruby, you're on standby just in case. And then the Colorado Avalanche will be in town as well on Thursday at 7 p.m. Matt DeMille and Marek will be on that post-game show. And then on Saturday, the Seattle Kraken are in town, like you said, Arubi, Matt DeMille. So you fans won't see me till the Four Nations face-off break is done. So have a great break and it will be between Conrad and Matt who will carry you throughout the rest of the show. But let's hit the chat line now. We'll start all the way from the beginning. I'll cover what we have done so far also. just so somebody who's joining us new doesn't miss. Matt C saying there is no lead that is ever comfortable for the Flames. That was Heartstopper. Would you agree, Ruby?
Yeah, the Flames always seem to, like we've been covering, they always seem to kind of slow down in those second and third periods. So when we have a lead, it's never like a for sure lead. We definitely have to keep it up. And Flames fans, I feel like never relax. They always are on the edge of their seats when it comes to games like this.
100%. And then Christy Merrill saying Calgary either plays well in the first period and then play poorly in the third, or play poorly in the first and well in the third. I think, yeah, we saw that today. Played well in the first and then poorly as the time went down. Of course, back to back, tired legs. You can. Players won't say these are excuses, but it's obvious we saw that. Your thoughts on that? How the Calgary Flames played well in the first and then poorly in the third?
I definitely agree with Christine there. I think that it's never either good in the first and third or bad in the first and third. It's either or. It's never a good middle ground. And I think I was reading some pregame kind of interviews, and I was seeing that a few of the players in the Husko were saying that uh, being tired was not an excuse tonight. Like going into tonight, they all knew that they couldn't keep that in the back of their minds heading into this game. So I feel like we are kind of giving them some lenience there, letting them use it as an excuse when they themselves said that they didn't want to. But you've got to face reality on that there. But I think regardless of that, I think maybe by them going into this game seemingly not letting themselves use that tiredness as an excuse, that's why we got to the score we did at the end here.
100%. Brandon saying back to back with bad travel. Vladdy played well. The boys lost gas. Yeah, kudos to Dan Bladder. Of course, you're put in these tough situations on a back to back. But the boys lost gas indeed. And then Bladder, I think, except for that one mistake, that delay of game, I think he played decently well tonight. Would you agree?
Yeah, I was really impressed with Vladar. I was noticing that he was very observant in net, moving super quickly, very athletically, almost looking a little bit like Dustin Wolf tonight. It was kind of surprising to see. So I think that he did great tonight on the road here with the Seattle game. With the exhaustion of the team, he really took it upon himself to make those saves in scenarios where he usually would have actually depended on the Calgary defense to make those moves for him.
100%. And then next Gene Leap saying tough back to back, but managed to get the win. 100%. And Farabee and Frost must be exhausted. They must be, certainly. KQ saying Frosty the goal man. JC saying Coronato might be get beat sometimes defensively, but it's never due to lack of effort. And the 6'6" Kevin Ball Smith need that size sometimes. 100%. If you ever want a defenseman, you need somebody like an Adam Klapka to throw that hits. Yeah, Adam Klapka had a decent game couple nights ago. I don't know if he has shown much tonight, but definitely, yeah, Kevin Ball is definitely missed. We talked about that. JC saying Mr. Icing was a potential backbreaker. KQ saying Jamie Pringle is the man. Yeah, like I said, Ruby, Jamie Pringle, the video coach, he has put in some fantastic work. He is the main reason that we have won, I think, most of our video challenges, and he's an absolute like. I think Calgary Flames have barely taken a timeout. I think maybe they took once to do a coach's challenge, unlike Seattle today. They barely take a timeout. They know right away, and he knows that's a call, and he has been hitting the nail ever since. So I don't know which game I can directly point out to you to go back and watch, but I think Jimmy Pringle has been successful with all of his coaches' challenges. And assuming this is the last comment here, keep those comments coming as well. But JC saying roads are crap. I would be surprised if they held a skate after a back to back. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't bet against, or I wouldn't bet for a skate tomorrow. They'll probably get a rest day, take it easy, and then come back on Tuesday. I think a rest is well deserved after a win like this. Your thoughts, Ruby?
Yeah, I don't think that they should take on a morning skate tomorrow. I think they should definitely rest as much as possible and prepare for these games coming up because they're going to be some very intense, high energy games. So they definitely should give it their all because they're going to have a good break kind of going into the Four Nations playoffs. So I think that they are playoffs, sorry, Four Nations break. So I think that they can take some time right now to relax and make sure that these games are played to the best of their ability.
Yeah, and when you say high intense opponents, it's the Maple Leafs, Colorado Avalanche, and Seattle Kraken yet once again. That is on the tabs for your Calgary Flames. All right, Ruby, any final thoughts? Anything you want to share? And any final thoughts before kind of we wrap up the show? I think that was the entirety of the chat line. Once again, thank you everybody for spending the night with us. But your final thoughts and comments, Ruby, before we wrap this up.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the Calgary's overall gameplay tonight. I think that we saw some good kind of new energy, maybe even from Vladar and Frost and Ferrisby going into tonight, and kind of seeing how the team is going to reconnect with these new players. But I think that we're definitely still seeing some patterns kind of repeat that put the Flames in a bit of a difficult spot, and that our opponents are definitely predicting when going into games against us. So I think that going forward, that's something that the Flames really need to be careful about and actually pay attention to. But overall, great game. Great job defending that last goal there at the end of the third. I think that we held off pretty well for the majority of the game. And yeah, these kind of schedules make for the kind of the energy going into these kind of games where you're kind of back to back and you're horrible travel and you've got new traded players and it's just scenarios that you're not really calling for. So, but yeah, overall, it was a good night. I liked it.
Absolutely well said. I'll just quickly update everyone on the standings as well. So the Calgary Flames hold still the wildcard 2 spot with 59 points. They are now two ahead of the Vancouver Canucks, sitting at 57, and they played equal number of games. The St. Louis Blues have played one more game, and they are five behind the Calgary Flames, so comfortably sitting in that wildcard 2 spot. GC saying great show, go Flames go. I hope the Leafs lose on Tuesday. So there you go, Ruby. JC has confidence on the Flames on Tuesday. And yeah, and then the Flames are just maybe 59, so doing a quick I think like 5 points behind the Colorado Avalanche as well. So a surprising season so far. We'll see if they can hold this true. But coming up next for the Flames is of course the Toronto Maple Leafs at home at the Saddle Dome. And JC saying sorry, Ruby. So so let's see what happens on Tuesday. Thanks for joining, Ruby and I. We appreciate it. This is Game Over Calgary. Catch all the recap and highlights later on Spotify, Amazon, or Google, or you can even watch the YouTube recap again. See a little bit of my technical difficulty shenanigans. Have a great evening. Stay warm, Calgary. Of course, it's snowy and wintry here. Stay warm, and then we'll talk to you again sometime soon. Have a good night, Ruby.
Yeah, have a good night. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
All right, that will do. Okay.